Hi, everybody. Welcome to No Story is Sacred. If you've never listened before, basically we're four siblings who grew up talking about the art of storytelling. Now that we're adults, we're still talking about it, and we're inviting you to join the conversation. I'm Brendan, and I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I'm Pippin, and I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I'm Alex, and I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm Kat, and I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Da, da, da.
Well, I guess we're going to have to try and kill each other and steal it first.
Ooh, yeah, the only solution.
Really? Clearly.
Yeah,
clearly. In case those...
So many hints.
So many hints.
So varied.
Weren't enough. Today, we are talking about the 2004 movie National Treasure. So, spoilers abound. If you want specific content warnings about the things we may talk about, check out the show notes on nostoriessacred.com. Now, for those of you who've never watched National Treasure, the summary, according to Google, is... Historian and codebreaker, Ben Gates has been searching
Puzzler.
his whole life. Yes, renowned puzzler, Ben Gates, has been searching his whole life for a rumored treasure dating back to the creation of the United States. Joining an expedition led by fellow treasure hunter Ian Howe, Gates finds an ice-locked colonial ship in the Arctic Circle that contains a clue linking the treasure to the Declaration of Independence. But when Howe betrays him, Gates has to race to get the document ahead of his so-called colleague.
Okay, and I'm going to stop you right there, because it's the end of the description. But also, within the first 5 minutes, I feel like we need to have Stefan from SNL show up and say, this movie has everything. It has Masons, the Templars, the Eye of Providence, Sean Bean.
Yep. Ian Howe, played by Sean Bean. I wonder if he's gonna betray someone or die.
One or the other.
Or both.
Both. Both is good.
Actually, spoilers, he does not die. His boyfriend does, so.
It's true.
Guys. By the way, Brendan, I finally get the joke about your art. Like, I get the second level of it now. It was awesome.
What Kat is referring to is that as a gag, when we went to Washington, D.C., and, you know, you go and visit the archives, and you can buy a little Declaration of Independence there.
That part was
and so,
real?
Of course, haha, you can. But when we got back, I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel like framing it. Why not? And then we printed out a Nick Cage face and a couple of hands grabbing onto the edge of it.
Which we will put on Twitter.
Yeah.
Of course. No, that's definitely going on Twitter. Come on. Because that's how I am.
Who you are as a person. When I went to the National Archives, I got a mug with Abigail Adams on it for founding Americans because we're fucking women involved.
Bum, bum, bum.
Which, watching this movie, you wouldn't be able to guess.
Listen, this movie clearly takes place in fantasy America.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, to set the stage, like, there's just, like, Masons out the wazoo.
Masons, the Knights Templar, treasure.
It's a conspiracy theorist wet dream, is what it is.
Benjamin Franklin's a Mason. George Washington's a Mason.
Wait, they may actually have been Masons, but more importantly, they all knew the secret to the treasure.
The cop's a Mason, and I a Mason.
I actually really liked that the cop was a Mason. I thought that tied it up nice. Okay, I'm gonna confess something, guys. I like this movie.
Oh, it's fun romp. It's a fun romp.
Fuck this movie so much.
It made Pippin feel feelings.
I hate this movie.
Do you hate it as a person who knows archival, or do you hate it as a woman, or do you hate it as just a viewer?
All three. I don't feel the need to limit myself.
I know, it's so terrible. Oh, he negs. Oh, there's so much. Okay, wait. Let's be sensible about this.
Let's just
Why?
go
The movie
through.
isn't going to.
Fuck you. It is perfectly constructed. It's just, anyway.
Is it?
It is. I will go down with this argument. I will fight this hill. I will send out the Eye of Providence about this.
Hey,
it is well constructed.
Yeah,
Ow.
Bren.
Let's pop some popcorn.
You two can sit this one out.
I'm not sure the content is great, but the structure is fine. In fact, the structure is tight as fuck. 20 minutes in, on the fucking dot, we get Sean Bean, who is previously, up to this point, clearly Nick Cage's buddy and compatriot, does, dun dun dun, a reversal. 20 minutes, boom, you get your first explosion. 22 minutes in, it's perfect.
Was it really 20 minutes in when that happened? It felt so much earlier.
It was exactly 20.
Oh, there was a prologue.
Yeah, we get the prologue with the, long-running, "Hi, I'm Grandpa. Let me tell you about your, about your lifelong quest and your father's disapproval."
Our family is disgraced because we keep on trying to find this treasure. Ha ha.
They all seem to have an awful lot of money for being a family of fuck-ups.
Right?
Well, they still find shit. I mean, he had the Benjamin Franklin thing. This was like the one kooky thing they were all fuck-ups about.
Except the entire historical community knows that they're kooky fuck-ups and refuses to
that may be the
talk
case,
to
but
them.
you can't deny that the dad actually had, secret Benjamin Franklin letters. I mean, they may have been fuck-ups and weird, but they had actual stuff.
Maybe they found their means through, was it that Pawn Stars program? Or, Antiques Roadshow for the more sensible types?
He had those letters forever, and then he donated them to
A museum!
The Franklin Institute, but yes.
Because they belonged in a museum.
Oh my god, what are my fucking notes? Towards the end of the movie is that this is like Indiana Jones, but somehow more selfish.
No, because they actually gave it to a museum. Everything they got, they went to a museum.
And they actually lowballed the offer that the museums were offering them.
No.
Yes.
No, we don't want 10%, we want 1%. Ha!
But none of them were doing it for, actual historical whatever. The Gates family just wanted to prove that they were
not the case.
right.
No. There's the argument right from the beginning. It's part of his whole discussion as part of the Declaration of Independence. Oh, it's so beautifully written. You have to do the right thing because it's the right thing regardless of how hard it is. And the right thing is to get the...
Also, that isn't even the most important thing in the goddamn Declaration.
I wasn't expecting this level of passion from Pip and Kat here.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why I kept fucking up and calling it the Constitution instead of the Declaration?
Go on. Because, by the way, listening audience, she fucked that up over and over and over again.
Is it because they kept on calling it the document?
They called it the document. And also, he references what he calls the most important line. And because none of us actually knows what's in the Constitution, you can make up anything and call it the most important line. But if you ask anyone about the most important line in the Declaration of fucking Independence, it's that all men are created
Except
equal.
For, women and black people and
and women, but
children.
And we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal, and are endowed by their creator certain inalienable rights.
And we'll cut for time.
But also, I would like to point out that I don't think he said it's the most important line to him. Because it is the thing that defines his character. He thinks it is the right thing to do. He is imbued by his grandfather's...
Would you want to spend more than 5 minutes with that character?
What? Listen. The way he treats women, no. That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is...
The way he treats Riley.
Also, he's shit at crime.
Do you want somebody who's good at crime?
I want someone smart enough not to go to their family member when they're all being pursued by the cops.
Well, look, he tried really hard to not go that route, remember?
And to be fair, he needed those letters.
He needed the
just
letters.
Fucking called for
He could have called... What? He didn't know if the phones were tapped?
Better idea than actually going.
Let's take a step back because we're kind of jumping all over the place here.
I mean, I guess.
So
I told you guys I was mad.
Yeah. Just need to let's focus. That way people can follow along at home. So I guess Kat, you kind of nailed it on the head there with
Yes, I did.
At 20 minutes in, we have explosions, we have betrayal, reverse order, whatever. And we have the race against Ian Howe, Sean Bean's character. Who
has, let us assume infinite resources and infinite money.
Yes.
Then why does he need the treasure?
For the sake of this.
And apparently has committed crime before, so experienced it.
Yeah.
I mean, and Al, are you asking why a rich person wants even more money?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he could have just, he didn't have to steal it. He could have just, thrown money to look at the
It
decoration.
probably would have been a lot more direct. Yeah, it's like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I just donated $500 million to the National Archives. Can I take a look at the Independence?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So many easier.
Also, they keep on referencing these document examination things. Like, just because Gates was blacklisted doesn't mean that Ian is.
Fair enough.
Very true.
That's
Very
a
true.
very good point.
Really, it's kind of Nick Cage's fault for being kind of a downer about.
And being kind of a dick, I can kind of understand why the historical community ignores them.
Yeah. Maybe if they were respectful members of the historical community.
Because, like, I have to imagine, like, the entire family were probably, like, totally annoying to work with. Because, like, I've met researcher types and all that who might have, like, one eccentric thing that they like to follow, but then otherwise it's like, oh yeah, then they have all this other stuff that they work on. That's cool.
Well, I'm suddenly reminded of that one paleontologist who's doesn't even have a doctorate. He's still a grad student, like perpetually, who keeps popping up being like, I've discovered this thing, including a rather recent thing, where he thinks he's found the actual KT explosion moment in the geologic record. And what most people know him from is that time he discovered a new dinosaur and then put a turtle bone in it.
Womp womp.
Whoops.
Yeah. He reminds me a lot, like, Nick Cage reminds me a lot of that guy.
Yeah, but the entire Gates family is sanctimonious as fuck.
Yeah.
Because they think they're Templars. Come on. Fucking Templars.
How about them Knights Templar, huh?
How many articles have they published as historians?
What, the Knights
Do they
Templar?
have any? No, the Gates family.
Yeah.
Do they have any standing in the academic community? Because maybe if they did, people would listen to them. And when he found the goddamn ship, that would have been a huge historical discovery, and they could have run with that while at the same time looking into that whole Constitution thing.
And
Declaration.
Declaration thing. You know what? They should have stolen the goddamn Constitution.
Anyway, but here's the thing. That ship done blowed up.
Yep.
So,
Because they're morons.
I will point out, though, that archaeologically speaking, there will still be items of interest there, even after it got blown up.
how do you explain that? We did not expect there to be a lot of still active gunpowder.
I looked that up, actually. Gunpowder, while it does lose some efficacy, does not necessarily go kaput, so to speak. I wouldn't say that it would go boom like that, but it
who
does.
knows? It doesn't stretch believability.
If it was properly packaged, which it seemed to have been.
Oh, yeah.
So let's try and steer back into
Indeed.
story.
So the Freemasons and the Templars and the historical people of ages had a treasure, and then they hid it. The end.
Yes.
And then the founding fathers decided to make a scavenger hunt.
Yep.
Because that's fun.
Ta-da!
Because they didn't have anything else going on at the time.
Nah. I'm just imagining, here's a brief little sketch. It's like, Ben Franklin, we need your sage advice when trying to, reform the new government here. Hamilton's really pissed right now. Can you help us out? It's
I
like,
have a note about Hamilton somewhere in here, too.
Hamilton will be all over this fucking thing. Are you kidding me?
No one invited him.
Because he kept putting his own name in anagrams throughout
Yes.
every clue.
but I'm just imagining like Franklin sitting there in the corner. It's like, no, wait a second. I need to have these bifocals be a key part of this treasure hunt. It's like, Ben, come on.
Ben Franklin does strike me as the kind of son of a bitch who would do something like this, but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
he would do
yeah.
the one like that Gates Sr. believes, which is just doing a random, like,
Just to waste
just
your
a
time.
goose hunt. Wait, is that what it's called? Wild goose chase.
Yeah.
There you go. And they're all giggling together at the bar, being like, and then we told them to do this. Shit, yeah. Now you gotta get to Philadelphia, that mud hole.
So how do we actually get there? Oh, it's underneath, it's underneath Trinity Church. Oh.
Oh, wow. That's convenient.
Yeah.
Huh. Right where the Federal Reserve is. Anyway, or no. I was trying to think about Hamilton again.
Where the treasure is.
But as we mentioned, like the treasure hunt happens.
Mm-hmm.
The community
Ben kidnaps a woman. Whatever.
Yep. Ben kidnaps a woman. That happens.
Riley's too good for any of this.
Then she Stockholms.
Yeah.
Stockholm's
real
hard.
Yeah.
Riley still exists. He was like a fun element for the movie, a nice distraction.
Riley is the guy in the chair.
Yeah. And
He's the computer guy.
doing a lot of the actual work of the...
He's also the voice of reason, and he's also the audience stand-in.
Yep.
And he's the Watson.
So-
He's the Watson. He plays a lot of roles for a guy who goes around smiling benignly.
And cracking jokes.
Fun fact, the actor who plays Riley was also in one of the main characters in the TV show The New Normal, which lasted for all of one season, and I miss it. And so the entire movie, I was like, man, I wonder if I can find The New Normal streaming. I'd much rather be watching that. He makes dumb Hobbit jokes.
That's pretty great.
But yeah, we have a declaration that gets stolen.
Yep.
Kidnapping.
They run around DC, they run around Philadelphia.
Also, Pip, in my notes I have about the declaration, handled with the utmost care.
Oh God.
Pip must be screaming. I literally wrote that down.
It starts with being shot at in its bulletproof. Is it a bulletproof glass case?
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
It was established that it was
So
bulletproof.
it gets shot at first, then it gets carefully taken out and rolled up, which is great for a document that's been stored flat for several decades.
Couple 100 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. We originally opened it up with wearing cotton gloves and whatnot. Then we pour some lemon juice on it. That's cool. Use a hairdryer on it. Excellent.
Got so mad at that hairdryer.
Breathe on it strongly. Get some moisture on there. Very important. And then after that, we're just, we've already fucked it up to this point. Let's just keep unrolling it. Let's touch it. I don't know. Let's use it as a baseball bat. Let's run it over. Let's use it to hold our fish and chips. Let's...
I just... The unrolling and re-rolling was bad. The hairdryer was bad. Though, point of order, modern archival practices, you don't wear cotton gloves.
Listen, this movie is from 2004. We must think of what was historically appropriate at the time. Case in point,
True.
They did not yet have iPhones, which is why they didn't do smart shit like go around just taking fucking photos of stuff.
Here's the thing. I think the Silence Do-Good letters would still have been online. Because there was a goddamn webpage about
That's a
them.
very good point. Wait, did you look it
Oh
up?
man,
Is there
they
a
go
webpage?
to like the GeoCities page.
I didn't look it up. The feds did.
No, Ian used Yahoo search and found, they went into the Liberty Bell. Okay.
Oh my god.
That was pretty brilliant. I did appreciate that.
Well, I don't know. Are these real letters?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, he also just could have called his dad and going, hey, do you still have the Silence Do-Good letters? I lost my scans of them, and I'm doing a bit of research.
At that point, he was made. He couldn't call.
Well, wait a minute. Wait.
But he was a dumbass who went to the
In
house.
2004, though, did we or did we not still have telephone booths? Could he have
Yes.
stopped by a
Good
fucking
question.
anonymous telephone booth while they were in New York? Maybe Grand Central? There are phone booths in Grand Central, or there were. Give a call to dear old dad on the landline that he assuredly had.
Now, also in my notes, when I learned about the Silence Do-Good letters, I wrote, did Ben Franklin sock puppet?
Oh, they all fucking
yeah.
sock puppeted.
Oh, yeah, they
That was
fucking
like
did.
what you did for fun back then. La 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 la, let me talk shit about all my friends and enemies. And they'll never guess it was me. Signed, A. Hamilton the Eighth.
I was gonna say, Alexander Hamilton existed in the world.
It's like, well, it was you, wasn't it, Alex? You can't prove it. It wasn't with my name.
Hamilton, damn it.
I write under pseudonym. You'll see what I can do to him.
All right, okay, so plot-wise, they have adventures, things blow up, people jump off into things, the FBI gets involved, the FBI there's really, like, most of the middle of the movie is, you know, the church scene, in Indiana Jones 3, where X marks the spot? That's basically the middle. That's the middle of the movie. And into the final third as well.
It's your standard,
It's a treasure hunt movie.
yeah, it's already in the name.
Yeah, I mean, and there's like, and if we're gonna draw more, connections here to Indiana Jones 3, the blonde love interest also has a German accent, which is like, really? How many? Okay, all right. that's fine.
Fine,
Her name's
whatever.
Dr. Chase, by the way, which is not subtle.
It doesn't need to be.
Abigail Chase, continuing to not be subtle.
I mean, the main character's name is Benjamin Franklin Gates.
Oh God.
I'm so mad.
So
Yep.
Anyway, there's reversals and betrayals and trying to work together to defeat the FBI, and finally they all end up underneath a church because again, this is Indiana Jones 3. And they fool the bad guys into thinking that they've actually reached the end of the line.
Well, no, that it was the latest step in the hunt. That there was another location to go to.
Now you got to go to Boston. And then they leave them at the bottom of a gigantic pit that somehow exists and hasn't been bulldozed by... I'm sorry, this is Philadelphia? Yeah, this is Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Philly.
All right,
No,
if it was
it's
Boston, I'd be like, no, the big dig would have found that fucker by now.
They're in New York at this point.
Oh, New York.
Oh, they're in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, there might actually be a gigantic pit in New York. I accept
No,
that.
they do reference the fact that they're right next to the subway. It just managed to miss.
Just miss the subway idly. Like, well,
Al.
Yeah?
The Masons drew the
Masons
subway
built-
maps.
Wait,
and
actually-
avoided it.
wait, shit. Aaron Burr did design Manhattan.
God damn it, Aaron Burr.
Wait, was Aaron Burr a fucking Mason? They all were back then, because that was like the cool thing to do. For fuck's sake. Alright, anyway, so
What
the
are you
Masons
doing,
designed
sir?
New York City.
I'm hiding a national treasure, sir.
In all, initial cap to the TM at the end. Anyway, so the bad guys take the elevator out because,
Of
our
course.
ancient forebears were in the middle of a fucking war. We're like, you know what we really need to be doing? Building elevators.
Also, you know what they would have been able to find? It should have been able to find fucking contracts and
That's true.
what do you call them? Order
Records of infrastructure.
Yeah.
All the contractors were killed on the bottom levels where you see all the bones.
No, oh my god. No, the Masons were good guys in this, remember? They're there to protect the treasure. Anyway, then they send the bad guys off to Boston, and they proceed to, Ben's dad is there, because of course he is,
He got kidnapped.
He got kidnapped a lot during the course of this film, for a guy who very much does not want to be involved.
I would very much like to be excluded from this.
But then he says, son, I'm proud of you. You got this far. I'm amazed. It turns out that there was actually something. Good job. And the son's like, great. I will take, your praise and translate it into finding the real treasure. It's not the love that you had for me all along. It's actual gold.
And it wasn't the friends we made along the way.
No, definitely wasn't this fucking girl. What's her name again? And then treasure. And then they find treasure. And it's actually quite a nice shot. Although they could have been a bit more, like, yes, finding the scrolls of this, from the Library of Alexandria is amazing. And I would legitimately be like, that counts as fucking treasure. But then after that, it was more like just a whole bunch of big statues. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Like, we could have been much more treasure-ish. Indiana Jones knew how to make treasure, you know?
Oh, yes.
Like, fuck yeah. Either a lump of solid gold, or it's the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, shit like that. They managed to get those scrolls from the Library of Alexandria, which is admittedly amazing, and then, like, maybe some gold-ish stuff.
Egyptian shit.
I know, there was a ton of Egyptian shit, but to be fair, we've already stolen so much of that, Western-wise.
Oh, yeah.
It was unbroken, I think that was the key thing, which is cool.
Yeah.
And the mummies hadn't been eaten.
Mummies hadn't been turned into brown paint, that's great.
But anyway,
Not that I'm...
they bring out all the treasure. They also manage to negotiate Ben Gates not being arrested forever because he can just turn in Ian Howe, the villain, in instead.
And also it turns out that the FBI who's been chasing him all along has been infected by the Masons and or possibly Hydra. That's everybody's fine with that. Everybody's okay with that.
Somebody has to go to prison, Ben. That doesn't seem like how justice works, but okay.
I'm a Mason. I make the rules.
I nominate Riley. What?
What? Bye, Riley.
No, Sean Bean goes to prison and, hooray, because he was busy threatening people and actually trying to, find and destroy the Declaration of Independence, as opposed to our heroes, who just destroyed it for good reasons.
Because they're the good guys.
Yeah.
And they end up being rich and famous at the end because I imagine that somebody wanted to have that happen.
Well, I think that's if you're going to have a treasure hunt movie, you might as well have them rich and famous at the end. Why the fuck not?
Because they're historians, and since when are historians famous?
Listen,
Dr. Jones begs to differ.
Listen, and also he did not claim it for himself. He claimed it just to get the taint of failure off of his family name.
You can't see my judgy face.
And that's set up for the sequel, where he works to get to the taint of having being descended from John Wilkes spoof off his name or something.
Really?
Like that.
Who the fuck cares?
Really?
You're not descended from John Wilkes Booth. You're descended from Edward Booth, the first great American Hamlet.
Yeah, he was a fantastic Hamlet. He and his dad were great actors. Unlike certain failures.
John!
No, there's this whole big thing where it's like your great granddaddy was part of the assassination plot. I'm going to prove that he wasn't.
Who the fuck cares at this point?
Yeah.
Like, the granddaughter of Mussolini is on Twitter trying to defend her grandfather. I mean, at this point, come on.
Ooh.
But 2004 was a gentler time, right?
I mean,
in some ways.
but that was a dick move. Anderson Cooper was on one of those ancestry shows, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And learned that his great-grandfather, one of his ancestors, was killed by one of his slaves. And Anderson Cooper went, sounds like he deserved it.
Yep.
Yep.
Seems about right.
Yep, perfect
Which
answer.
I think is a refreshing point of view from a Vanderbilt.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right, I keep forgetting. They bred for pretty, didn't they?
So
Yeah, they did.
So I guess before we kind of go into story changes here, I think I still have a soft spot in this movie despite how stupid it is. Cause you kind of roll your eyes at a lot of it now, but it still kind of channels some of that like Indiana Jones-esque, but in the modern era feel. Also, fun fact, this movie came out a year before development started for the first Uncharted game.
Ah.
So in some ways, this led to the Uncharted series of video games.
Oh, that's pretty
which is a lot of fun and yeah.
I will nod like that has meaning for me.
Uncharted is a series of treasure hunt video games with a lot of
pithy dialogue.
Okay.
But is it anything like Assassin's Creed?
I mean, there's a lot of climbing.
Assassin's Creed has Templars, so really, which is more like this movie?
Uncharted is basically like what would happen if you took National Treasure, did not make it like National Treasure, just actually hunting like artifacts like Indiana Jones does, and it stars Nathan Fillion instead of Nicolas Cage. 2004 Nathan Fillion.
Ooh.
That's voiced by Nolan North.
Of course.
Important distinction right
Wow.
there.
So, I guess we're moving on to story ideas, and I've got one.
I've got one.
Well, I hope we all have one.
No, but I mean, like, I
Otherwise,
got
what
one
are we
I want to
doing
fight
here?
you for.
Too late. I'm claiming first.
I have rage.
Damn it!
Oh.
Yeah. My story idea is National Treasure as a mockumentary.
Okay, go on.
Elaborate.
You've seen, like, you know those, archaeology documentaries? Like, those really crazy ones about pointless searches? Like that one about that, like, one shaft on an island?
I fucking love that shaft on an island.
Right? So a documentary like that. Like, just fun.
We'll link to that don't worry, we'll link to that in the show notes. It's very important. It's conspiracy bullshit. I love it.
Do you remember its name? I forget it.
Here, you talk, I'll find out.
Okay, so we have the film crew. We have Gates talking to them about his reason for doing this.
Oh, it's Oak Island. It's the Oak Island mystery, thank you.
Oh, Oak Island, yeah.
In Nova Scotia.
Yes. So, kinda like that. And so the film crew follows Gates around, and he talks to them, he gives them his reason for doing this, I'm just carrying on the legacy that my grandfather gave to me. What about your father? He's dead to me. Or something like we disagree. And then it goes off into one of those biography things, talking about the family.
Okay.
What was the name of his father?
And name?
Ben Gates' father.
His name was Dad.
Ben's father disagreed with the theory of the treasure.
Ben's father refused to be filmed for this documentary.
Then there's an interview with Ian. As they're doing the interview, the camera guy zooms in on the gun at his waist, and it does that focus in real quick, and then focus out, and goes back to his face, and he's looking right at him.
I like that. So wait, what does changing the genre do, story-wise?
Well, it can go either two ways. Mm-hmm. Instead of half a day at the Charlotte, they spend about a proper month there are actually investigating. Or, and I like this better, the betrayal goes as normal, and the entire movie goes as normal, except now there's these two film guys here, the boom guy and the camera guy, just keep on following. Oh wait, even better. The film crew got split.
Oh.
And they're like, we're still in this, he's going to steal the Declaration, but we're going to steal it first. And then it goes into the post. At this point, he was talking about treason.
And as filmmakers, we weren't sure if we were committing treason, but we wanted to be committed to the art.
We need to be true to the story being told.
We're just flies on the wall.
I would also love it if it actually got split into three. So there was one with Nick Cage, there's one with Sean Bean, and then there was another group who had just gotten lost from everyone else, and so we occasionally get back to them, holed up in their hotel rooms. They keep calling the cell phones of everybody else. Nobody's fucking answering. They're like, we're running out of money.
I want them to be doing the research on their own, just the legal way.
We're stuck in Calgary and we don't know how to get out.
And there's a film crew with the cops as well.
Just so many battling film crews.
These ones were picked up by the cops because they're, they're kind of accessory.
I will point out that to very, very minorly, this can be considered to have been done by Parks and Recreation. Which is a mockumentary style, and it
loosely.
Shut up. And they do have a puzzle episode. Now, it's supposed to be a puzzle episode based on the Dan Brown book, but I contend that it still counts for this.
Aha, but you see, I have not seen that episode. Haha.
You haven't seen that episode?
It's really good. It's really good.
I think I missed it.
Oh, the one other connection, the other connection I want to make is I'm just imagining Riley has constant, aside to the camera, just looks straight at the camera.
He falls in love with one of the camera people.
Aww.
Roddy, the Jim Halpert of...
I mean, he kinda is.
And so you can see I've now hacked into the, into the National Archive.
Wink.
Which can't be that fucking easy.
Yeah, seriously. And then we hear a female voice, because I believe in female camera operators. We hear a female voice saying wow, that's really clever, isn't that hard? It's yeah. You think so? She's like, yeah, kinda, yeah.
Aww.
My TA was able to do it too. I really admired them.
Wait, did we just add a romantic subplot that actually makes sense in this movie? What the hell?
Okay, camera crew, jump onto the elevator! No, we'll just stay here!
They just lower a camera down.
We're good.
Sean Bean is pointing a gun at us. Okay, jump.
Why are we still here? Why are you taking us? For posterity. And also so you can tell old Shaw's story.
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?
Right.
Okay. So that's Alex's.
That's Alex's. Listen, okay, my turn. I'm taking over the ship. I am the oldest sibling. So I can speak from...
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
no, literally. Fuck you. I literally am. All right. And so I can...
Sure, but don't make this seem like you're better than the rest of us.
I can speak from an authority of old age.
What the...
Whopping couple of years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Old age. And you know who I identify most with in this fucking film? The dad.
Yep.
Right up until he actually forgives his son and tells him, his son is great. No, fuck it. Up to that point, when we have, just grumpy old man archaeologist, a historian. Grumpy old man historian who's just tired of this shit. And then he just gets picked up and, tossed around, and people keep kidnapping him, and he's just let me go. So I want the story from his point of view. I want and I want it, like, deep into his point of view. So, like, suddenly, like, we see him puttering around. Suddenly his kid shows up at his front door. They're doing secret shit. It's very, like, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Meanwhile, he's doing his own shit. And I want it to be kind of related to what he did with the Benjamin Franklin letters. Like, that's one bit of agency we see him do. Like, that's the shit he did on his own. Why did he choose then to donate it? Maybe he has his own treasure hunt going on that's legitimate, Pippin. There you go.
I think that at that point it's called historical research.
Anyway, so then he gets dragged along on all this stuff, but he has his own plot going on. But he, at the same time, he does not have the background that we as the audience have watching this movie. So we get to watch, you know, basically, old man yells at clouds, but the clouds are really our assholes.
So I guess,
yeah.
Here's a question, because it's kind of just focusing on the father. Do we get to see the inciting incident that had him turn away from this life of treasure hunting and pursue pure historical research instead?
So I'm actually against the idea of doing I don't particularly like prologues. I'll say it. Not in film. In books I love them, but in film, I would rather it be revealed over the course of the story. Yeah, I noticed that Nick Cage's mom isn't around. What happened to her? And or second father. I don't know what his family life was like. So let's say that there was a lost love. Maybe that's what caused it. Huh? Oh my god. Wait, guys. Also, because this is old man adventures, I want it to be like the more comedy end of things. I want it to turn out that Nick Cage's mom moved to Germany and married again.
No.
Yes.
Oh no.
I want sibling baloney bullshit. I want them to find out and then it'd be very awkward for everyone.
Wait, isn't she not actually German? She's something else.
I don't know. She said that she's
No,
American.
she's American, raised in Germany.
You know what that means? It means I'm right. Dual citizenship right there.
How are we so blind?
What was the plot reason for
They have
her to...
the chemistry
Shrug.
of hey, Brendan, you're a scientist. Where are two things that are inert?
Noble gases.
Yeah, they do. They have the chemistry of noble gases. I'll take it.
They're fucking argon.
But they're not fucking
He
argon.
was argon. She was helium.
Also, can we all appreciate that I named a fucking noble gas that wasn't helium?
Good job.
I
I'm very
appreciate that,
proud of
Pip.
you.
Yeah, good job.
Thank
You are a real Xeon warrior princess.
So anyway, look, I pulled inert out of my pocket. Let's praise that.
I'm proud.
Good job.
I am proud of you.
Thank you. So anyway, yeah, I just think that's hilarious. But that's me. I also want to just nip that romance right in the bud. Because then it can, I can see that turning very swiftly into a sibling rivalry dynamic, which I think is much better. And then she can end up with Riley, or Riley ends up with the camera person from Alex's plot. One or the other. But, yeah, so I want, Old Man Yells at Clouds, that are historical.
The movie.
Historical clouds, yeah.
Fair enough.
That's my story. And
Fair
actually,
enough.
hideously enough, guys, I actually like that well enough that you'll never guess what I want to do. I want to write it.
But will you ever
Of course
actually?
I fucking won't. You've met me by now. We're how many episodes in? Have I managed to write any of the stories?
Any of these 40 story ideas.
Yep.
But hey, you could take nuggets from each one and incorporate it into something else eventually.
Eventually.
Weirdest goddamn crossover.
So, Pip, you or me?
I mean, I'm ready to get real and angry still.
Do it.
How about you go? That way I can kind of
Soften it.
steer us back. Yeah.
Fair enough. So I want to take a moment, and get... Here's the thing.
Go on.
None of it makes any fucking sense. None of the conspiracy makes sense. None of their actions make sense. So all I would like is a movie that makes sense.
Like how, Pippin?
Maybe they can take that Scrimshaw art pipe thingy, and instead of bleeding all over it,
Yeah, that was some bullshit.
they could bring it back to the mainland and go, oh, hey, I made a great historical find. And then they don't have to blow up the ship with all the historical importance. What? And then...
Sidebar real quick. When you mentioned the scrimshaw pipe and stick it It's like, and stick it where? Oh.
That's my other plot.
Listen, sailors were weird. We've listened to their music.
We've met sailors.
He bang indeed. So there's that aspect they could do. They could be actual historians about this. He could be trying to do the right historical thing of doing the actual proper research and talking to the National Archives and other historians at other universities. That maybe he could find out later that Ian is planning to just straight up steal this Declaration of Independence, and then he could be on the right side of the goddamn law about it, because he's clearly terrible at crime, and so fucking arrogant about it, too.
He is really bad at crime. He could have been,
But he thinks he's so great, and that's what drives me insane. If he'd been a more bumbling criminal, instead of thinking, oh yeah, I'm fucking great at this.
Really, all he had to do was call in a bomb threat.
I mean, he put all that junk on the stupid campaign button thing, and I'm not sure Washington ever campaigned, to get her fingerprint, and it was all invisible, and to get the fingerprint that night, and like, she didn't wash her hand?
Gross. That says something about Abigail.
Yeah, and you still want to date her?
The thing with the coin was to get her fingerprints on the keyboard.
Yeah. That being said, it requires a plot convenience or a plot coincidence for him to get her fingerprint. He had to have known that someone would attempt to give her a glass, and then he would have to get the glass from her hands without messing up his
to be
fingerprint.
fair, if you're at a function and there's free booze, you grab the free
that's
booze.
the most believable part.
Well, yeah, but would you let somebody take your free booze from you?
Oh, God, no.
See?
No, that's fucking mine. But here's the thing. He put the junk on her fingers earlier in the day, and it is still on there in the evening.
No, she goes to almost immediately after she gets that coin. She
grabs
goes
the
to
fingerprint from her glass.
No, the fingerprint. Okay, no, that comes from that stupid trick where you put glue and smoke or whatever. That was a separate chemical reaction.
This whole thing is bullshit.
It was a separate chemical reaction, man, from the oils on the fingers.
Her dress was real pretty, though.
Her dress was amazing. Did it have pockets, though?
So anyway.
I don't think it did. But yeah, it could be him on the right side of the law, and then Ian on the wrong side, and that could have been less fucking bullshit. Any of the clues could have made fucking sense.
It could have been like The Fugitive. Sorry, that's my note. That's my note on the...
Thanks.
You're welcome. Go on.
And 3D art on the back of the Declaration is just fucking ridiculous.
It seems kind of lazy, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, also, as if a mass spectrometer, which I am certain that they've actually used on it, would not have fucking caught that.
Oh, yeah. They've probably scanned that God knows how many times under different lighting conditions.
Well, also, but it would be able to tell the chemical composition. That's what mass spectrometers do, isn't it?
Is that invisible ink?
And also, oh my God. Once he had the Declaration, his identity was made. That sucked. But he, after that, had fucking time to go to ground for a bit.
That's true.
Where Ian couldn't find him. His big mistake was going forward faster. The next day, he could have returned the goddamn Constitution.
Declaration,
whatever the fuck it is. And then, the reason why he's a selfish asshole is because he didn't return the Declaration then.
Well, they needed to look at the Declaration again later.
He kept pursuing it.
Pippin's like not listening to this.
Well, so here's the trick. If they're just following the totally legal means, is that it becomes a little bit harder to kind of maintain the tight 90-minute action movie feel. Because that's still what they're trying to go for, is like, boom, bada boom, bada boom, explosions, gunfire,
I will contend that this is why I brought up the Fugitive. It does do boom, da boom, da boom, but time passes, and all of his decisions are logical.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, it's a very careful, it's a very careful line to tread.
I think I wanted them to be more careful and more thoughtful, instead of the mess that this was. Instead of me going, why are you doing this the entire time?
Well, look, Ben Gates has a lot riding on this.
A lot riding on this.
I mean, bills are due.
This whole movie is a dude I don't want to talk to.
Okay.
And also, side note, there should be more women and people of color.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh, yeah,
side
that
note,
one.
I would appreciate if the kiss didn't happen forcibly, but rather happened at the sensible point, which is after they had survived death-defying everything. That was a perfect first kiss moment, and they didn't take it.
And they ruined it.
Instead, it was some bullshit moment earlier where he surprised her, and she's like, "Oh, I guess I like this. This is fine. Do you trust me? Not after that bullshit kiss. Fuck off. I'm taking the declaration
And then he
with me."
gets kicked in the junk.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else, Pip, with yours?
Any more rage?
This whole movie is bullshit. Ian and Shaw were in love. No one can convince me otherwise. I feel like the amount of money that they had at the end was still too much, even if they took only 1% of the finder's fee.
I do not think
And
that's the case. Based on just money. That was a cheap-ass house, and I'll say it.
I'm just saying that historians don't have that much.
Museums, can you imagine? I want that movie, by the way. Museums suddenly trying to figure out where they can get the funding to get part of these collections.
I mean, they mentioned that they sent a private jet. I'm like, really?
Well, but I mean,
Wow.
Historians sent a private jet.
even if the stuff was given to them, they have to find the funding to house and store it. I mean, so
Yeah,
they're
they
going to
do.
have to be calling up all of their trustees. It's going to be fucking wild. I want that movie.
Oh god, the donor dinners.
National fundraiser.
Sorry, go on. I know way too much about this.
Same.
How much of the stuff is going on tour?
Oh god. Well, also, I just have to,
Oh.
like, this is an unfortunate byproduct of my interest in infrastructure and how do we actually run a business and insurance code and, so anyway, I recognize that I'm perhaps the odd one out.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I'm totally a selfish jerk, so I'm like, yeah, 1% of that money? Yeah, sure.
I mean, they shouldn't be going for 1% of, like, the value of everything, but weren't they donating it all? Wasn't it being returned to their home country, so there wasn't even any money
And wasn't it
involved?
also being used as a bribe to the government?
No, wasn't the bribe to the government, wasn't it the release of it all to museums and stuff like that?
And Sean Bean.
Yeah, and Sean Bean. But there was
I
a
thought
finder's
that was the
fee.
case.
But how can there be a finder's fee for something you didn't know was missing?
Shrug.
Anyway, yeah, that's what I have to say.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Run.
Oh, is it me?
It's you.
Oh.
Yeah.
The time is now.
Okay, so I'm riffing on something that I think Kat kind of mentioned a little earlier, although weirdly Pip kind of mentioned it with the relationship between Ian and Ben Gates.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing I'd change would be the nature of Ian's character, the character played by Sean Bean.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be Ben's lover.
No.
Yeah!
The change is we're changing it from just a straight up villain character to a villain rival. And the reason why is that the big change is that the two are actually brothers.
Dun dun dun.
Ooh.
And I'm thinking that Ben is the adopted brother.
Oh.
So like not the legitimate heir to this treasure hunt claim or whatever.
That's kind of amazing.
That's pretty good.
And the drive for the movie is the fact that we have the two characters. One is driven by the thrill of the hunt and wanting to, raise the family name and all that. Mm-hmm. The other, Ben, is driven by the pursuit of knowledge, truth, all that good
And
stuff.
the American way.
Yeah. And so it becomes a lot more of a dynamic between like a character driven for, again, knowledge for the sake of knowledge, and we got to protect this and get these artifacts back to their proper locales, while the other is like, no, our family has been, reduced to nothing, and I want this. We need this. And then there's like that.
It belongs in the museum.
Kinda. And the other thing is that because we're not starting with Ian being a straight up, going from, suspicious character to straight up level 10 villainy right at the 20-minute mark. No, it's a bit more subtle. So it's like, oh, this is like the first legit clue we've gotten in 10 years race you to it. Bye. And Ben's character realizing, oh, there's nothing. He will try and steal that declaration. And then maybe we can have Pippin's proper research channel thing. Who knows?
Listen, I believe in the power of libraries.
Sure you do.
Libraries transform.
But the other thing I'm thinking is that we have a much more gradual descent of Ian's character. So again, not going straight to level 10 villainy. I'm thinking like at the transition of the acts there, when they steal the declaration, that's when Ian's character kills his first guy.
Ooh.
Like actually kills somebody for this hunt. And that's when Nicolas Cage's character Ben kind of realizes, oh, this just got a lot more real than I was expecting it to be. And yeah, that's what kind of kicks off the, I guess, race against time, because he's also like trying to limit just how bad it can go for his brother.
It's not just a race for the declaration, it's a race for his brother's soul.
I'd be down for that.
But by the end of the movie, yeah, it's still more or less the same, like, confrontation at the end and tricking his brother, with like, there's still another step in the treasure hunt. Better go get it.
You can tell the whole treasure hunt is bullshit because they were able to come up with that clue real fast. And it was perfectly believable that'd be part of it. I fucking hate it so much.
I'm gonna make you watch it when you come visit. I want to listen to you yell. All right, Brent, is that your change?
Yeah, that's my change.
Awesome. Hey, guys.
Yes.
Hey, what?
I want to play a game.
Okay.
We should play a game. I
Fun
think
times.
we should play Special Appearance by.
Okay, you bitch. I know exactly who you're going to do, and I want to do it first.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Special appearance by is what happens when a meta character appears, like Spike or Kirk or Mulder.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And now on the count of 3, Pip, you and I, we're both going to say who they're fucking thinking, because I know it's the same goddamn thing.
Here's the thing. I'm willing to bet you that it's not.
You.
Can I join in? Cause
Yeah, go for it. Okay.
Yeah.
And Bren, if you got something, all right.
I'll just count.
Okay, you count.
1, 2, 3.
Carmen Sandiego.
The leverage team.
I fucking knew. Aha! I got Pippin.
Shit, did you?
I said leverage.
Yeah. Yep. You Pippin.
Fuck. I didn't know you watched it.
Of course I fucking watch it. It's competence porn. Wait, what'd Alex say?
Carmen Sandiego.
Ooh.
Oh, Kat, I was expecting you to say Steve Rogers.
Why?
Because of the dumb American connection.
No! For fuck's sake. No.
He was born on the 4th of July. Anyway, so, the
leverage team, I said it first. I get to go.
Fuck
you.
No.
Oh my.
No, you went before me in the main thing.
You bitch.
Oh, yep. Pep has a
Damn
point.
it. Fine. What's the leverage team, Pip?
So the TV show Leverage is the most amazing television show.
I gotta rewatch it now after watching fucking National Treasure.
Right? Oh my god, they would not have done any of this shit.
No.
They would have gotten the Constitution.
They would have pretended to be
Declaration.
billionaires, donated a building, and then gotten to look at it for free, so to speak.
And Parker would have been real mad because she couldn't just go in and steal it. And it would have been so easy.
So easy. Sophie would have gone in there. She would have been like, hello, darlings. I'd like to give you a building. Can I look at the declaration? I've always been interested. And then she'd bring in her own scientist to take a look, who is, of course,
Right.
Nathan.
Hardest. Yeah, Nathan. Oh yeah, he wouldn't let anyone else go near it. God damn it, Nathan. So the leverage team are a bunch of thieves and grifters.
And one insurance adjuster.
That's why you fucking like it.
Yeah.
And they basically Robin Hood all over the place and use their thieving, grifting tricks to take from the rich and give to the poor. And it's amazing. And they would have looked at this whole setup and gone, yeah. Once they knew someone was trying to steal it for the wrong reasons, and maybe Ian Shaw is some global evil guy, he's responsible not only for the people he's actually, like, literally killed in front of him, but, you know, the deaths of children or something, from his company, because he's also, like, he has some sort of business stuff.
He's like a venture capitalist or some shit.
Yeah, he mentioned that he used to do crime, and he might have been lying, sure.
Pip. Did Ian know? I want to say the dad of that Leverage group. Yeah.
Nathan?
Didn't even used to know Nathan.
He used to know Elliot.
Actually, guys, the reason Nate from Leverage, Nathan, started Leverage was because his former employer refused to pay for treatment that could have saved his son's life. Who was the former employer? Ian.
Dun dun dun.
That being said, also, Leverage started in 2008, and this movie was in 2004.
So?
I contend
Inspiration.
that, yes, the shenanigans of trying to do weird crime may have influenced this.
Yeah. But yeah, they would have pulled the whole thing off within a day, gotten the declaration in, out, in, whatever, with nary a person the wiser. Mm-hmm. They would have gotten the treasure, and Parker would have been very upset when...
She wasn't allowed to keep any of it.
Yeah. It would have been great.
Parker is like a tiny blonde Scrooge McDuck, to be honest.
She's so great.
She's amazing. Also, that show has a fantastic OT3, one true pairing, except there's 3 people, which this movie could have had. I'm saying it.
We could have had it all.
This could have been another fantastic addition to the why not 3 people? Right up there.
Because everybody needs a Riley sandwich.
Yeah, they do. Look, all I'm saying is that we already have Singing in the Rain. We could have added to that collection. So anyway, okay, Pip, that's Leverage. I
have in my notes the Leverage team would have handled this.
Yeah, I thought it immediately. All right, so anyway, Steve Rogers gets called in because somebody has stolen the Declaration of Independence. He teams up with Old Man Gates because they both remember World War II. And they have old men yelling at cloud adventures together. The end.
All right.
Does Steve punch Ian and Nicolas Cage in the face?
Yes! Punches Ian first to get the declaration, and then looks at Nick, and Nick Cage is being all like, thanks, you did this, I really appreciate it, let me have it now. And then he looks over at Old Man Gates is shaking his fucking head, and Steve's like, son, I don't think, it's gonna be very, like, Avengers, Steve Rogers, like, oh son, I don't think so. Patow!
So you just stole the Declaration of Independence.
Roddy's nerding out.
And then both old men, one who looks like Steve Rogers and one who actually looks like an old man, stand over unconscious Nick Cage, shaking their heads, their fists on their hips, and then they go out and have an egg cream. The end.
He really is. Your son's really a prick. I know, it's a... Right.
Somehow it turns into found family. The end.
Right.
Here's the thing. I want you to know the reason I want it to be Steve Rogers also is so that the rest of Avengers can find out he did it. And make fun of him forever.
Oh my god, can you imagine if he keeps trying to find a way to return the Declaration of Independence without actually, revealing that it's his good friend, Gates' son who stole it. So he keeps trying to figure out how to give it back, and it keeps failing.
Does he try to put it in Fury's bag one day?
I actually think he kind of sneaks it into one of, Tony Stark's back rooms. So that he can, nonchalantly be like, hey, Tony, what's this? Tony?
What?
Did you steal the Declaration? And I have cameras in these rooms, Steve.
Oh. Walks like...
Gosh, it's just a rookie mistake.
And then they all make him film a PSA.
And that's how Spider-Man Homecoming happened.
Right.
I love that. Anyway, go on. Who's next?
I already said mine, so...
Wait, what was yours?
Carmen Sandiego.
Go for it, man.
Because stealing the Declaration of Independence is right up their alley. Carmen's. Keep in mind, everyone.
Fair.
I've not yet watched the Netflix one, and I don't really intend to.
No, this is old school Carmen. I understand that.
No, this is Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego?
Ooh, where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego?
Yeah.
Hit it, Rockapella.
Oh my god, I had such a crush on her cartoon.
Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego? Carmen Sandiego.
I love how that's your go-to Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, wow.
That's the cartoon.
Yeah.
No, I had the game, man. The live action. With Rockapella and the kids who had to stand on, states. And then of course there's her forbidden love with Waldo.
Right?
Of course.
No, like,
Who is Nick Cage.
No. Bad. Bad.
but no, can you just imagine Carmen and San Diego going, just leaving the, clues for the gumshoes, who's to find?
That does sound like fucking her.
Like, okay, gumshoes, you found Ben Franklin, 3D bifocals.
His freaky specs.
Oh, you can just imagine, and like it's located at the crossing of what the Wall and what was it?
Wall and Broadway.
Yeah, here at the Wall. Okay, gumshoes, what do you think? And none of them can get it except for that one kid.
That one fucking kid. It's the kid from the beginning of the movie.
That kid, Ben Gates.
No, that's student on that.
Oh, that kid.
Yeah, that kid.
The kid who helped them.
Yeah.
Oh, the kid who didn't get murdered. I was glad about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a PG
The kid
movie.
who got $5 compared to the multiple billions that the main characters
That's not
got.
true. He got $5 plus the $100 bill that Ian gave him.
Yeah, that was great.
$105 compared to billions.
Yeah,
Yes.
Listen, when you were 8, would you have known the difference between $108 and $1 billion in terms of what you could actually physically do with it?
But by the time I turned,
Yeah, that's a good point.
16.
Okay, but you're not 16. You're 8.
I know. I'd recognize the people on TV later. It's like, son of a... No, what?
Wait, you sons! Revenge movie. Revenge movie.
Revenge movie.
Revenge movie.
Revenge movie.
But no, so
Oh, that should be our rewrite. Fuck that. Nice.
Damn.
and then at the end of the, you've made it out with me this time, him gumshoes, but there's always next time, or however she ended in the.
You remember way more about Carmen Sandiego than I do.
I like how we literally remember just the song.
Right.
And the fact that she was hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In her trench coat and hat.
I mean, Carmen Sandiego's always hot.
yeah.
I mean,
In the
She rocks a hat.
in the cartoon, she talks to the player. Oh yeah. Yeah, you nearly got me this time, player.
Ooh, player.
play
Oh
it.
yeah, cat. Watch the clips.
Strangely, I'm probably not going to do that, but
I don't want to ruin the Carmen Sandiego that's in my head.
the one in my head,
She thinks I'm pretty.
you know what her trench coat has? Pockets.
Pockets.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Pockets that you can hide a Declaration of Independence in.
Oh, totally.
Oh. All right, Bren, your turn.
Okay. So I mentioned before that this movie predated the Uncharted series of games by a couple of years. One could argue that it inspired it. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying Nathan Drake shows up, and now it's a 3-way race between Ben Gates, Ian Howe, and Nathan Drake. And you know what? There's going to be a lot more bullets, a lot more explosions, and a lot more pithy one-liners, and a main character who isn't a jerk.
And at the end, where they're at the treasure site, the entire place collapses.
Hell yes. So he doesn't really walk away with much of anything, because that's just what
I
happens.
thought that they were going to find a treasure and then it was going to fucking explode or something. Like, they found it, but they get the joy of knowing they found it. And it doesn't actually materially change the world. You realize that they exist in a different world now.
Well, here's the thing. If this is an Uncharted game, what ends up inevitably happening is that the treasure isn't so much a treasure so much as a thing that could potentially destroy the world if it got
Naturally.
out.
Yeah, in the first game, they found El Dorado. It turned out to be a golden statue that made zombies.
I mean,
Yep.
Come on now, obviously.
And the bad guys wanted to take it when they discovered that aspect of it because, hey, zombies, we can use that as a weapon. Awesome.
Who doesn't want an undead army?
Of course not. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. So in National Treasure plus Nathan Drake, they get to the treasure room and it turns out like it houses like, I don't know, like all the plagues of Egypt or something. I don't know.
So here's the thing, though.
Actually, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Because it's a lot of Egyptian stolen shit.
Mm-hmm.
Evie Callahan could have handled all this.
Evie could have handled all of this. So here's the other thing, though. I'm just thinking about what could have been what one of those scrolls from the Library of Alexandria could have been, which is the only thing that they really mentioned that they've definitely found.
Uh-huh.
And you know what would be very fascinating is if we found another couple of versions of the Bible, because as you know, the Bible is basically an anthology. So the finding of this, of course, throws the world's religions into a complete shenanigans. Yep. Anyway. But additionally, this puts into, like, why were the Templars involved? It wasn't really for good reasons. It was to hide this information. And then suddenly, we have to have a sequel that's not stupid via John Wilkes Booth, but rather having to deal with the knowledge that his family, or what, like, his sense of self, where he believes he is the continuation of the Knights Templar, protecting and doing this general good. He has to come to terms with the fact that, no, actually, they were assholes too. That would have been cool. And it would have been acknowledging the fact that this is a different universe now. But anyway, that's my thought.
I'm not sure the writers understand what historical discoveries can actually do.
It's money.
And I'm not sure they understand peer review research.
But anyway, Nathan Drake, explosions, huzzah.
I love it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was National Treasure, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
All right. As always, if you have a story to submit, head on over to nostorysacred.com/submission. Follow us on Twitter at nostorysacred, or send an email through contact@nostorysacred.com. Your hosts have been Alex MacDonald, Brendan MacDonald, Pippin MacDonald, and Catherine Crichton. Editing for this episode done by Brendan. Transcript done by Ashley DaCosta. Art by Jay Wolf. Show notes and transcript are available at nostorysacred.com. Thanks for listening, everyone. And please rate, review, and subscribe to No Story is Sacred. You can visit our Patreon page to support the show and get neat rewards at patreon.com/nostorysacred. See you next time when we talk about the 2009 movie Sherlock Holmes. Until then, we're No Story is Sacred, and any story can be changed. I'm Pippin.
I'm Alex.
I'm Kat.
And I'm Brendan.
And we're
No
Story
Story
is
is
Sacred.